Welcome, my name is Brian Caplen, I'm editor of The Banker. We're reviewing the top 1,000. I'm here with Stefanie Linhardt, who's the Europe editor for The Banker. Stefanie, you've obviously been looking at the rankings on both Western Europe and Eastern Europe. So let's start with Western Europe, and obviously, you know, the story of Western Europe for the last few years has been challenges, particularly in the Eurozone. What do the rankings tell us this year?
We've seen some improvement, especially in profitability. Western European banks last year had only had a return on capital of 1.6%.
Right.
This year it's risen to 11%, so that's definitely a positive.
Right. Okay. And but I mean, it is the case still that I mean, there were 5 countries in the world that lost money last year. I think there were Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Cyprus, and Slovenia, and they're all in the Eurozone. So I mean, clearly the Eurozone still faces quite a number of challenges going ahead.
We have seen some challenges obviously translated into the ranking. So we have had, for example, the Bank of Cyprus being bailed out last year. It was the highest mover into the rankings,
right,
with well, nearly 2,000% of changes in Tier 1 capital because of that.
So in a way that shows you how carefully you want to read the ranking results, doesn't it? Because I mean, you could look at a bank that's seen that improvement in capital and say, wow, that's fantastic, isn't it, growing fast? In actual fact, it's because it's been recapitalised.
Yeah, out of all the banks that we've got in the Western European top movers, only one bank is actually a real mover, and that's Tesco Bank.
What about the other half of the region in Eastern Europe? What sort of changes are we seeing in the rankings there?
Eastern European rankings they were quite stable. I think the top 8 banks of the region have not changed. Sberbank is still topping the rankings. It's very Russian-based.
Right,
Russian,
okay.
dominated.
And this is interesting in itself, because when you think about what happened in Eastern Europe, I mean, for a long time it was the big Western European banks, UniCredit, Raiffeisen, buying into Eastern Europe, dominating those banking systems. But now it seems that actually the Russians are in some ways more dominant.
The Russians have actually bought themselves. So we've had Okriti Bank, for example, buying Nomos Bank, which last year was in our ranking in the top 25. And Okriti Bank now has basically moved into the ranking because of the buying out of Nomos Bank.
Right, okay, but that's Russians in Russia itself. What about Russians actually moving into the East European region, into the other countries? So they are starting to do that, I think.
Well, Sberbank has bought Volksbank in Austria. Created Sberbank Europe, which is obviously a very, very large operator now as well in the region.
Okay. All right, thanks very much. We'll look at the rankings in careful detail in future. Thank you.